Hello, you're watching Base Shade Highlight, a simple guide to painting miniatures. In this video, I'll be painting Killmonger from Marvel United Rise of the Black Panther expansion. And I'll only be using the new speed paint from Army Painter. I'd like to point out they didn't consult me when designing the box. I've played around with it on a few test models, but this will be my first attempt on a Marvel United figure. I've already primed in black with a white zenithal highlight, so let's find out if they'll work for this game or not. First up is the pants. I combined these two greens in a paint well, but didn't stir them in hopes they would magically slap on and create a camo effect. It didn't really come through, but I didn't bet the house on it. Once I get that figured out, I can start development on one coat checkerboard paint. I do miss the green stripe between his two thigh belts, but I go back and catch it later. I'm using the large brush that came with the mega set. It seems the heavier you apply speed paint, the better the effect becomes. I'll come back and clean up my slip-ups later, all at once, so it doesn't slow me down switching back and forth. In my research, I've seen splotchy paint jobs, which usually come from applying over large flat surfaces. That being said, there are some minis I wanted to avoid. Juggernaut and Professor X come to mind, or Ultron and Iron Man from the original box. Don't get me wrong, a painted mini is better than an unpainted one, but I have standards on this channel. Which leads us to Killmonger. I chose him because he has good texture detail without those large flat areas. Pallid Bone is one of my top 3 colors from the set, and it's the perfect color for Killmonger's mask. Speed has a tendency to cause mistakes, but fear not, they're easily remedied with white. The key is to make sure the speed paint is completely dry, otherwise it ends up tinting the white. That shoulder strap mistake was pretty heavy, so I wipe it off with a wet brush before it has a chance to dry. It doesn't clean it completely, but it's good enough. Against my better judgment, I try painting the dark paint over a lighter mistake. The translucent qualities that give speed paint their benefits can also be a drawback if used improperly. This is not the intended use, but just like touching behind a wet paint sign, I had to try this for myself to confirm. Part of me debated touching up the chest and shoulder plates with metallic paint, but I'm going to leave this as 100% speed paint. Up until this point, I hadn't decided how I was going to do the weapons he's holding. I considered using metallic paint or normal paint for a non-metallic metal, but in the end I stuck to my goal of using only speed paint and attempted a one-coat non-metallic metal. I applied it very heavily and tried to angle him as he dried so it wouldn't all run down to the base of the blade, as you can already see it doing. I could have taken more time and done each blade separately, but I wasn't about to mix speed paint and patience. By the time I painted Killmonger, I'd already finished Black Panther and decided to make the bases of all the Wakanda figures a reddish brown, similar to Warrior Falls from the movies. That's where the waterfall fight scenes take place. This slew of paint is my attempt to match the color I used on Black Panther. Leave a comment if you're interested in watching my Black Panther video. I've gotten some good feedback from the poll in my video descriptions. Thank you to everyone who's taken the time to fill that out. Now, for added contrast, I'll do an edge highlight with matte white and then go over it with Crusader skin. As you can see, I fiddle with the power cord beneath him a few times. At first, the yellow is too bright and distracting from the model. The attempt to cover it with Crusader skin isn't much better. In the end, I wash it with Gravelord Gray and paint the electrical box to dim it down. I'd estimate I spent an hour and a half on him, which is less than half the amount of time it usually takes me. The quality isn't the same as my other videos, but considering the ease of use and number of figures I still have left to paint, I'll probably continue to use these for my B-Squad characters. I still want to give special attention to my favorites. Here he is complete. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I could seal it and continue to paint more details with regular paints, but I'm going to keep it as is and call him done. Do you prefer speed paint and want to see more? Or do you prefer the traditional base shade highlight method? My favorite parts of this model are how well the mask and weapons turned out. Thanks for watching.